From the Millersville University Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Kyle Elliott here with the medium range forecast and video discussion issued on Monday, June 29th. Well, the big story during the middle and latter part of the upcoming week is going to be the record-setting extreme heat wave that's going to bake the eastern United States from Wednesday through at least the 4th of July. So without further ado, let me start by taking a look at the GEFS model here. And what you're looking at is the upper levels of the atmosphere, and what you'll notice is that we have this large sprawling jet stream ridge or heat dome that's essentially going to amplify over the eastern United States later this week. And what happens with these heat domes is that you have this strong subsidence or sinking motion below them, so the air compresses as it sinks and thus it heats up dramatically, and that's what we're going to be dealing with from Wednesday, like I said, through at least the 4th of July. The EPS model is also in very good agreement with the GEFS. This is pretty much lock, stock, and barrel that we're going to be dealing with this extreme heat and humidity as we head into the 4th of July weekend. So you're not going to see a whole lot of differences in the models here as we progress from Thursday through Saturday. You'll notice that we have this sprawling high pressure system over the eastern United States. We are going to have to watch for some of these complexes or mesoscale convective systems that kind of come over the top of the ridge and try to ride along the ring of fire, which is essentially the periphery of the heat dome. At this point, I think that these complexes are going to target New England. They may get as far south as New York State, perhaps the Poconos and the Lehigh Valley later Thursday, again on Friday, and perhaps even on the 4th of July. But I think here in the lower Susquehanna Valley and northern Maryland, we're going to be a little bit too far to the south and west to get much, if any, relief from these MCSs. Perhaps one reaches us later Friday or Saturday, but I think we have the better chance then on Sunday and early next week. So what you'll notice here is dry conditions on the GFS and the Euro Thursday, Friday, even on Saturday. The Euro suggests that one of those mesoscale convective systems does actually reach our area. Saturday afternoon, I did look at the updated 6Z Euro. It doesn't show that. So this is still kind of up in the air to see whether or not we actually do have showers and thunderstorms around on the 4th of July itself. But the devil is not in the details here. Whether or not we have record-tying, record-breaking, or near-record temperatures, this is still going to be a very dangerous and potentially life-threatening heat wave. So it doesn't matter whether or not the air temperature hits 99, 102, 103, 104. None of that is really relevant to the safety risks with a heat wave of this magnitude, because your heat index values are still going to be between 105 to 115 degrees each afternoon from Wednesday through Saturday. And as such, an extreme heat watch is in effect from noon on Wednesday through 8 p.m. on Friday. High temperatures will soar into the mid to upper 90s Wednesday afternoon, and I do think that they will reach or exceed 100 degrees across the entire region on Thursday, Friday, and perhaps even on the 4th of July itself. Dew points on Wednesday will be in the low to mid 70s. They should be in the mid 60s to low 70s then each afternoon from Thursday through Saturday. So as a result, like I already said, peak heat indices will reach 105 to 115 degrees and dramatically increase the risk of heat-related illnesses. There's not going to be much relief from this heat at night either. Overnight low temperatures will be in the mid 70s across outlying rural areas, and then in the low 80s in the urban corridor from Washington, D.C. to Philadelphia, even in Lancaster, Harrisburg, and York. I expect overnight lows in the downtown areas to be in the low 80s from Thursday, Friday, and perhaps even on Saturday night as well, in the event that we don't get any cooling relief from thunderstorms. Even Wednesday night, those lows in the urban areas will be in the upper 70s to low 80s, so you're not going to have any relief at night. So that's really a bad situation, especially for those without air conditioning, because even if you leave the windows open at night, your house really isn't going to have any chance to cool off at night, because when you factor in that high humidity, even at the coolest hours of the day and the wee hours of the morning, your heat indices are still going to be in the upper 80s to around 90 degrees. So there's just no relief in sight once this heat sets in on Wednesday. So as a result, heat-related illnesses will be a very big concern heading into the 4th of July weekend. So in order to minimize the risk of contracting heat exhaustion or heat stroke, drink plenty of non-alcoholic beverages to stay hydrated, and simply stay out of or limit time in the sun. I know that's going to be tough to do over the holiday weekend, but if you can, just limit time at the sun and take frequent breaks in an air-conditioned room or building. Eating a diet high in fruits and vegetables can also replenish electrolytes and help with hydration. Also, never leave children or pets unattended in a vehicle because the internal temperature of a car can reach lethal levels in just a matter of minutes on a 100-degree day. And make sure to check up on your relatives, friends, and neighbors as well, especially the elderly and those with underlying medical conditions. As we move forward then into Sunday, unfortunately, that heat dome is still going to be in place. I think the axis of this heat dome, you'll notice, if you remember back to the first few slides I showed, over that 5-day window, on average, the axis of the heat dome is going to generally be over the Ohio Valley and Central Appalachians, but on Thursday and Friday, that axis shifts east into the mid-Atlantic states, and then by the weekend, it peels back westward into the Ohio Valley and Central Appalachians. So I don't think temperatures will be quite as high on Sunday, but again, it's really not going to matter much with that high humidity in place and the dew points in the low 70s, because even with temperatures in the mid-90s on Sunday, your max heat indices are still going to be around that 105 degree number Sunday afternoon. Both the GFS and the Euro, again, still show that heat dome in place. And they also don't really show many thunderstorms around on Sunday. I wouldn't rule out an isolated shower or storm during the afternoon and the evening hours, but again, just another very hot and oppressively humid day on our hands to wrap up the 4th of July weekend. So as we take a look at the medium range Campus Weather Service forecast, hazy and humid on Thursday with blistering sunshine and record challenging heat, high 100. Hazy and humid on Friday with blistering sunshine and record challenging heat, once again at 103. The current record highs at Millersville for each of those days are 101 and 104 respectively, both from 1966. So we will see if those are challenged, tied, or even perhaps broken. And then as we move forward into the weekend, partly sunny, very hot and humid both Saturday and Sunday, with a chance of a shower or thunderstorm each afternoon, highs both days in the mid-90s to still perhaps around 100 degrees. Well, that'll do it for this edition of the Medium Range Forecast video. Tune back in next Monday for the latest edition. Until then, remember to follow these heat safety tips and stay safe out there during this brutal heat wave that's going to arrive on Wednesday and last through the 4th of July weekend.